Hello, hi, welcome back. My name is Russell Slack, and I'm the founder of Guided Seasons Wealth Advisors. We are a comprehensive financial planning and wealth management group. We're located here in Eastern Idaho on the front door of beautiful Yellowstone National Park. And we find ourselves today in an uncaged environment where we've now got clients all over the United States. And to help them and to help you get to understand us better, we've decided to produce a number of video segments. You see, there are a number of things that I feel are unique about us, about who we are and what we do. And I just wanted to share six or seven of those things that I think are significant. So the first item, if you allow me to share, is we listen. Now, we function as fiduciaries, which means we are acting in the best interest of others. But how can I act as a fiduciary if I'm not listening, if I'm not making probing questions and really understanding who you are and what's important for you? And I think for me, and probably for you too, the most important thing is to be understood. Your most important need is to know that the people that you're working with really truly understand who you are and what needs that you have. So asking good questions, deep probing questions, and really truly listening, I think is absolutely necessary if we're going to act in a fiduciary capacity. So at the beginning of every meeting I have with a client, it first starts with, I've prepared. And there are a number of things that I would like to cover in our meeting. But before we even begin, what are the things that you wanted to cover that were important to you, that were maybe keeping you up at night, that we really need to dig into first? Similarly, at the end of the meeting, I want to ask the follow-up questions. Did we cover the things that were important to you? Um, was this helpful? That feedback is really important because it helps us understand if we were effective in making sure that meeting, that visit, was around your needs and what was important for you. The next thing is we educate. I think it's very important that clients understand the elements and the strategies deployed in their financial lives, why they are doing it. I often find it interesting when I'm getting to know a client's financial snapshot or their current situation, and I ask questions like, explain how this fits inside of taking care of your financial needs or your insurance needs or your risk management needs or your estate needs. And I often get the questions like, I don't know, I was just told to do it. Well, how can you feel comfortable in your financial plan if you don't know why you're doing it? And I always have this rule of don't do anything unless you truly understand why you're doing it. And I take as much time as needed in visits and maybe that visit into a second visit if we really need to spend the time to explain and educate why these things are important for somebody's well-being. And at the end of the day, we might have created the best and most strategically significant financial plan out there, but it really comes back to that first rule. We need to listen because it might not be the best plan for you. The next thing is we seek efficiency. So with over 3,500 different companies that you can invest stock into and buy stock into, and lots of different financial instruments and the way things are packaged and the many different regulations and the way that the tax code fits in all of this stuff. And there may be some wonderful solutions that leverage your assets so that you don't have to spend as much. And we often put things together in a good or better and best scenario so that you have the ultimate control of how these strategies fit together in your financial plan. But in all of these things, we're looking for efficiency. Next, we take a holistic approach. Because our certified financial planning background, we act more like strategists to your whole financial life. We often talk about a chessboard, a financial chessboard. And that starts with understanding how all the pieces in that chessboard play together. We start listing assets, liabilities, expenses, income, and those needs that you have. We really seek to understand how, if we move one piece on that chessboard, how is it going to impact the other pieces? So that strategy is important. The next thing is we make the planning personal. Now, this may seem obvious, but I often find in the relationships with people that are coming to us that that was the part that was missing, the personal relationship. And people are more likely to share their medical information with their friends and neighbors than they are their finances. So it is a very important and personal thing when we start discovering what this financial picture looks like because it impacts everything. It impacts your spouse, it impacts your kids, it impacts your extended family, it might impact your business, and it definitely impacts your peace of mind. So when we talk about the financial lives of our clients, absolutely it's personal. And it even gets more so when we get to that retirement age and we want to be independent and have the financial dignity that we don't have to rely on other people. And so, yes, we make it personal. The next thing is we addressed what people fear. Now, once we build out a financial snapshot and everything's on one page and you can see it all laid out before you, it's very logical to start talking about the fears of if one of those things blows up or disappears or gets spent too fast. So we start talking about what the fears are. We can talk about the fears of losing a spouse, losing a kid or a grandchild, or having a medical condition that requires us to spend our assets too quickly. We can talk about the fears of the market or the government or politics. We can talk about all of those things that may keep you up at night. And if you start solving for the fears and insulating your assets and your balance sheet from those, you start eliminating them. If you can eliminate those fears, that's really what's going to bring that peace of mind that you're seeking for. So talking about fears is very important. Next, we take a fully integrated approach. Well, in our world, we typically find advisors in one of two camps, either in a what I call the variable side, which is managing investment assets, or the fixed side, which is managing uh, insurance and annuities, long-term care planning, health insurance. These take separate licenses. They take product knowledge, they take expertise, and they take talent. Well, having a fully integrated approach means that you have to have competency in each of those areas. And how can we, as fiduciaries, be a fiduciary if we're only using half of the toolbox? I mean, every solution can't be done with a sledgehammer. So when you're interviewing your financial advisors, ask about that. Ask about those two different camps and how they're integrated into your financial plan. Ask if they're licensed in both of those areas. Ask them how their practice is integrated in all of those areas and brings those into planning. So, lastly, we function as fiduciaries. Now, I've talked about this over and over today, and it's a person who acts in the best interests of another. But I would just ask the question, how can someone be a fiduciary if they're not doing all of the things on this list? I'm happy that you sat with me this long and that I could share a little bit about what Guided Seasons Wealth Advisor is and why I think we're different and we're unique. I hope this was helpful. I'm glad that I was able to chat with you just a little bit, and I hope to meet you soon. I hope that as you are searching for your financial peace of mind, that you can find a guide that helps you in what you're looking for. So until next time, be well.